The prominent critic of mRNA vaccines, who just finished a speaking tour of Australia, British cardiologist Dr. Aseem Malhotra, says the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines should be suspended pending an inquiry into emerging safety evidence. He told News.com that prior vaccines have been pulled for much less, and alleged that Australia's Therapeutic Goods Administration had been involved in a cover-up of adverse event data. But a leading Australian cardiologist hit back this week, telling the news site that there's no link to cardiac deaths. Professor Jason Kovacic is the executive director of the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute and a practicing clinical cardiologist at St Vincent's in Sydney. There's a lot of information out there, he told News. Some is good and reputable, and some is not so reputable. And I think it's very confusing to the public to have all these people saying different things. Okay, now look, if you want to criticise what someone has to say, then criticise it. But don't do the ad hominem thing. That's the Latin term, ad hominem, that basically means playing the man instead of the ball, attacking the speaker or the source instead of their argument. It's a very poor debate tactic used constantly by people when they don't have a good argument. Just get on Twitter and you'll see it all the time. Dr. Malhotra is a highly respected cardiologist, and he was very high profile long before COVID came along. So let's not question whether he's reputable. The next part of Professor Kovacic's retort said that, quote, "I think it's very confusing to the public to have all of these people saying different things." Now, this really annoys me, and I think it cuts to the heart of what's wrong with a lot of Australia's public health information and debate these days. It's patronising, it's condescending, and it reeks of nanny state self-righteousness among bureaucrats. Oh, it's very confusing to the poor little public, so we smart doctors better step in and look after them. No, tough. Life is confusing and we can handle it. Thank you. We're adults. Stop treating the public like children. We don't need you gatekeeping our information. We can work it out for ourselves, thanks. Come out and slap down the arguments and slap down the information of people who are saying things you disagree with if you like. That's all part of a good, rich, scientific public debate among experts. But in a liberal democracy, we get to make our own minds up, and we get to be wrong, and we get to make mistakes and own the consequences like adults. So don't attack the people you disagree with personal slander on their reputation, and please don't say the public can't handle all this complex information. Censorship is not the answer. We are not stupid, and we can sort out the BS from reality. And we can also cope with the idea that science isn't settled on a lot of things, and risks do exist, and unknowns do exist. You know, it might do some of the experts in our health bureaucracy and institutions and some of our esteemed doctors to remind themselves of that scientific truism from time to time. If you enjoyed that content, there's lots more where that came from. The Other Side Australia is back every Tuesday and Friday on ADH TV and all good podcast platforms. It's your weekly short circuit summary of the best news commentary from Australia and abroad. Don't miss it.